Good morning. This one's a really odd video because it's part wool review, part Barbie outfit. Now, I wanted to share with you this gorgeous yarn I've got, which I will do in a second, but also I'd had a request from one of my subscribers to make a top very similar to the one that I did for the Smart Doll earlier. But obviously, it's a pared down version because it's a smaller doll, so things are slightly different. So this is what I came up with for our Barbie here. I'm also going to show it you on some of the other dolls I've got to show you the sizings. But essentially, it's going to be going up as a Barbie top video. But of course, as you know, it'll fit lots of different sort of fashion dolls. So I hope the person who requested this, I'll pop a message on so that they know it's here. Like it, and let's get on and have a look at this yarn first. She is done in 4-ply yarn. That is why some of the yarn I'm going to show you here fits. Now, I've already sort of been in, as you can see, I've been rummaging around in the parcel here. Now, this is a wool order from Attic Spin Dye. I will pop on a link to their products. It is hand-dyed artisan yarn and it is absolutely gorgeous. I've used quite a lot of it before, but then there was this one particular colour which in fact, we're going to go with that one. I'm going to go with the big one first because this isn't 4-ply. This I have bought for me because I just loved the colours so much. And just look at this beauty. In fact, let's move the paper because it's distracting from the gorgeousness of the colour. So as I said, it's Attic Spin Dye and it is this gorgeous, I think it's peacock that they popped it down as. Yes. Saying it's there, I can't miss it, can I? It is peacock. Now this is a double knit. I got this gorgeous little stitch marker along with it, which is something you usually get with your yarns as well. So I've got a little peacock stitch marker. So this is going to be for me, I don't know what. Obviously it's not going to make a jumper, there's not enough, but I knew that. No, it's going to be a scarf or I don't know. It's mine anyway, it's mine, not the doll's. Saying that, you can use double knit quite successfully for Smart Doll hats. A little bit too chunky for these guys. I usually go 4-ply max for the smaller dolls, but you can get away with a nice chunky hat. So I know what's going to happen. It's going to end up being Smart Doll rather than me, but I couldn't resist it. I thought it was so lovely. So that is the double knit yarn from Attic Spin Dye. They do actually do it in a 4-ply version as well. And then I ordered this little selection, which I've already started rolling some of them up, as you can see here. The top we have here is out of this one. Now, these mini skeins are amazing because they're perfect if you're only doing doll things. Perhaps you can't afford to sort of pay out, or you don't want to pay out for a big skein of an artisan yarn, but you can get these smaller ones. I mean, these are lovely. Just look at these. This is called Sweet Shop. I think you can probably see why, particularly this one. This really does remind me of sweets. But these are the other skeins that I've got. So let's have a little look. Can you see them a little bit better? Just look at these colours. They're absolutely stunning. And as far as a doll's concerned, you'd be surprised for a small doll how much. Because like I said, I've already made this top. I did make another one. I made a mistake. So really, there's already 2 tops got out of this little ball here. So I would probably get another one out of that, or maybe a little hat or something like that. I'm also saving all the ends at the moment. So if I've got a bit left over, and I just keep adding them to a granny square. So I'm hoping at some point there will be a nice Attic Spin Dye mini skeins, granny square something. It's going to take a long time to get a blanket, but you never know. This is one I'm going to use today because I thought I just love these sort of aquary greeny pinkies as well. I also got a little stitch marker, and this is perfect for me. Just look, it's a little girl. I suppose you could argue it's a little doll, but for me it is a little doll, which is absolutely perfect. The other thing I got with them, I got a little freebie gift as well. So it's just a little thank you for purchasing from them, and here it is. Got lots of bits of paper over there now. Obviously a little thank you with compliments note. So I'll pop their details on. We have a little lavender bag. Oh, I absolutely love the smell of lavender. I can't help smelling it. Excuse me for sniffing that. But I've got a couple of these now. And yes, it's a lavender bag. But it's a great cushion for the dolls. I've got a little sofa for one of the dolls and I'm lining up the cushions that I get, and it makes it smell nice as well, so it is lovely, and I do love that smell.
I have a little tea bag, which the way my throat's going at the moment, I perhaps could have done with making this up before I started the video, because for whatever reason, my throat feels a bit dodgy this morning. So lemon and ginger and manuka honey. I think I've had that one before, and I think it's really nice if I remember rightly. And I got a little free skein of yarn. Again, it is a 4-ply yarn, so it's perfect for my dolls. So it's always nice to have a little extra, isn't it, when you've bought something. So those are the yarns I got. Couldn't resist showing them. But the actual project today is to get on with making Barbie a top. So I said I was going to use this one. I think I may need my yarn bowl, so bear with me a second, because that is going to roll about absolutely everywhere. Oh, I just knocked the fan, that's what that strange noise was. And here is my yarn bowl. And you know, I mentioned making sort of the little tiny bits of skeins that were left. Well, this is how I've started it. So these are all the different colours I've used, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger, I hope. But for now, I need that for that, so it can run through. There we go. Now, I'm using a 3mm hook. Now, on average, 3mm is a little large for doll work, but when you're using a 4-ply, you can get away with it. It's weird, I don't like hooks from a size 2 up to a size 3 because of what they're made of, and I bend them in half. Why won't they make a 2mm hook in a steel like the smaller hooks? I love using a smaller hook. A 1mm is my favourite size, but as soon as you get to a 2, they're like this aluminium, and perhaps it's me, I'm just a bit rough, but I end up bending them in half. I've already thrown one away because I was going to try and do it on a smaller hook, but I found this 3 work quite nicely. I have a little needle here, I have some scissors, I also have some press studs or snap fasteners, whatever you want to call them. And the reason being is, for the doll's top, I just used it as a little snap fastener, just like that. It just makes it a bit simpler. And also, for this distance here, depending on your tension, you're going to have to watch out for that. But if it did come out a little bit bigger, you can take it further across, but it does also stretch. I think this is a little bit loose on her. This is the first version, like I say, well, not the first version, it's the second version, because the first one went wrong. But then I'm thinking, well, I'm going to try it on one of the others. And I've got my curvy Barbie here, and it might need that little bit of extra stretch. So this bit here, that could be down to you having to sort of try it on your doll. In fact, shall we try it on them? Who have we got? We have our curvy Barbie here. And I've also got Cindy here, because obviously I have a lot of Cindy things. So I needed to make sure it would fit. So, curvy girl first. Let's undo your dress, missus. And let's see how the top works on you. Obviously, because it's just a tie halter, that won't matter. That can fit any doll then. So I'm going to move that doll over there. What I was, like I said, concerned about was the fit at the back. Yep, that's actually quite good. Oh, I think it actually suits her better. I think the colour scheme suits her better. So, yeah, so it will fit our curvy girl nicely there. In fact, I do like that. I might actually leave that one on her. After I've done the video, of course. And let's just check on Cindy there, because Cindy's got one of my other little halter tops on here. Now this one I did do a little button, so it's a fastening there like that. And let's see, missus. Again, the fit at the front seems quite nice. The back might be a little loose for Cindy, so I think it's not bad though. It's not a bad fit. Again, I think that was quite nice. I think that suits her quite nicely there. But maybe a little loose there. So we're going to discuss that in this video. Oh, that went bright then. I'm going to alter what I've actually written down. So I'm going to make this one with you guys a little bit smaller here to give us a little bit more of an allowance. So I need to pop it back on Barbie, because I did promise it was a Barbie top. And it's Barbie we're going to be measuring off against. So for now, I'll just slip this back on her and just fasten the back bit up. I also added a little button over the top of the snap fastener just to hide where the fastening is, that's all. So
the hair on this one. She is Barbie. She's one of Barbie's friends, but she is one of the Japanese versions. That's why she looks a little bit different, but she's got almost the exact same sort of physical shape. So we're going to pop you to one side, missus, and we're going to get on with this pattern that I've written in very rough form at the moment. Obviously for this bit, we need 2 parts. Is the ball going to run? Yes, it is. So this is a little bit sort of amigurumi starting. So I'm going to start with our slip knot, and I'm going to do 2 chain, 1 and 2, and then into this very first chain here, I'm going to do 6 double crochets. First one's always hard to get into. Oh, there we go. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's our first round. Our second round, we're going to be doing 2 in each of those stitches, just like we do when we do amigurumi. So finding that first one is the one I always have a fight with. In fact, I don't really like this hook. The other ones in this brand are quite nice. Now, if that first stitch is hard to get to, you can always grab a needle, just give it a little stretch, and then it should hopefully go in. Not all crochet hooks are the same. Some have a better point and some don't, but we're in. So 2 in each one to give us a total of 12 stitches. So that's 1, 2 in 2, 2 in 3, 2 in 4, 2 in 5. Oh, we're going to that lovely sea greeny colour now. And 2 in our number 6. Those first rounds are always the worst when you're doing these. Tighten up that middle bit, because we don't want a little hole in the middle there, do we? And we're going to be doing a little bit different now. We're now needing to get sort of the point of the bikini top even. So I'm going to do a slip stitch here. So slip stitch. That is just because it flattens it off for me, because I want to do 2 chain. Now that 2 chain is going to count as our half treble, but then I'm going to do 2 more chain, which just count as 2 chain. Okay, so there's 4 in total there. And I'm now going to do another half treble in the same space as this one came out of. So yarn round into the hole, pull it through. We have 3 on the hook. I want you to pull it through all 3, whether you have to do it bit by bit or all at once, it doesn't matter. We are now going to go back to double crochets. I didn't mention, did I? We are using UK terms here, so hopefully you may need a converter, but hopefully you'll have already realised that when you see the stitches. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1 in each of these next 3 stitches. Well, 1 in each. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so the next one is going to have 1 half treble, 2 chain, 1 half treble, all in the same space. So yarn round for our half treble, into the space, pull it through, and pull it through all 3. 2 chain, 1 and 2. Another half treble into the same space. Ta-da! Right, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. Some very loud lorries outside. 1, 2 and 3. I'm hoping it's not going to sound loud on here. They're resurfacing the road where we are, and it's been a nightmare. Can't put your car anywhere or anything. Right, the next one is a half treble one again. So a half treble, 2 chain, 1 and 2, and a half treble. And then we should have left 3 double crochets, which we do. 1, 2 and 3. And then we're going to do a slip stitch join. Now your slip stitch, you can remember this was like 2 chain and then another 2 chain. You want to just go in the top of the 2 of the chain. because that's the actual one that counts as, I missed the stitch there, didn't I? This is the one that actually counts as our half treble. Ta-da! And that's our first little triangle for our bikini top. I actually think it's worked out better than that one. I've done a little bit of altering since that one for the pattern. So this is the sort of the better version than that. So you can see we have a little triangle there. Obviously we need 2 of those. As I'm really hoping that that is not going to be too loud outside, otherwise I'll be making another one anyway. Right, here we go. He's going backwards and forwards. He's flattening the road off at the moment, and it is very annoying. And the dog doesn't like it either. So we've got 2 chain. Now we're doing another one of those. We're going to do 3, I was going to say then. He's really distracting me outside. 6 double crochets into the first chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we have 6 double crochets there. We're now going to do 2 double crochets into each of those 6, giving us a total of 12. And again, it's always that one, it's always that first one. I really don't think these hooks are pointy enough. I like a real nice point on my hook. So I'm just going to pop the needle in there and just stretch it out so I can get in there a little bit better. Because after that it seems to be alright, doesn't it? Ta-da! In we go. Or not. Again, then I drop it off the hook. Oh, what am I like? Right, 2 double crochets in each one. So that's 2 in our first one. 2 in our second one. 2 in number 3. In number 4. In number 5. And our last one, 2 in number 6. And tighten up the middle. If that isn't tightening up afterwards, you can sort of stitch it round to make sure it is tight at the end. It should do it if you've got a decent slip knot, but sometimes if you've caught the wool or something, it will do it. Right, so that's our second round, and that was 2 in each, so it gives us 12 stitches. I'm going to do a slip stitch to start the next round. Okay, and can you remember I did 2 chain, counts as the half treble, but then I did 2 more chain, which just counts as 2 chain. Yarn round and a half treble in the base where we've just come out of. Nearly did a treble then. Right, now we're going to do 1, 2 and 3 double crochet in each. So we have 1, 2 and 3. Next one is half treble, 2 chain, half treble, and then 1, 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, half treble 1, 2 chain, half treble in the same space, remember, and then we should have 3 double crochets left, which we do. So we've got 1, 2 and 3, and again in the top of the 2, not the top of the 4, so just about there. We'll do it nicely, and we do a slip stitch. Obviously each side comes out different because I'm using a variegated yarn. I like that. You might not like that. Some people prefer plain yarn. Sometimes plain yarns are great if the outfit below is sort of fancier, so sometimes you need a plain colour, but she's just got a denim skirt on here, so I think you can get away with any colour. And fasten it off. So now we have our 2 little triangles. So that's the top of the bra part of the top. So now we need to do this bit. And as I say, I'm going to alter this bit because I think I actually did that a little bit loose. I actually did 12 stitches. Again though, if your chain is loose, you're going to need less anyway. If your chain is really, really tight, you're going to possibly need more. I can't see you needing more than 12 from what I've seen here though. So I'm going to pop them to one side. In a perfect world, I recommend you sew all those ends in now. It makes life easier, but because obviously I don't want to you don't want to sit watching me sewing ends in, I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit. So, slip knot. And onto the hook. We are now going to do 10 chain. Doesn't sound a lot less, but 2 chain either side can make a difference. So 10 chain. 1, not too tight though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So that's 10 chain. Doesn't look a lot, but she's got sort of, this part of her body is a lot narrower. Remember, we're not going across the bust part. I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to keep that one to the top just to keep it out of the way, I think. And I'm just going to pick up one of the chain spacers. This is why I did 2 chain spacers, because it makes it easy for you to see. My voice is going again. Excuse me. Right, so get all the bits out of the way. This is where you should sew the ends in. And we're going to go into that 2 chain space. I'm just going to tighten that yarn up a bit. And I'm going to do a double crochet in it. Then I'm going to pick up the 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. And then I'm going to go for the next corner and a double crochet. So basically you've done a double crochet into the corner one. You've done the 3 which were your basic double crochets from the previous row, and then 1 more into that corner, and then we're going to pick up the other one. Get all the bits out of the way, definitely recommend do that. And we're going to go into the chain space. Keep this is quite tight because this is the joiny bit, and then you're going to have 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And then I want you to jump, so there's a little jump, you've got a stitch missing there, don't worry about that, just jump into the next one. The reason being is it sort of curves that bottom around. So yes, there is actually more than 3 stitches there, but I've deliberately gone into the chain space, 1, 2, 3, into the chain space on both, and it just curves it round a little bit to fit the doll a bit better. So we're now going to do 10 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So if you just wanted to do a strappy bikini top, you're there enough there. You would need longer ends because you're going to tie it, aren't you, if it's a strappy one. But that is basically how you would do a bikini top. But we need a little bit more here. So we're now going to do a couple of double crochet rounds, and it is literally a couple. We're going to do 1 all the way along with the chain, and then just 1 more. So we need to find these chains. This is where if your chains are too tight, you'll not get in them. I hate this bit. I hate this foundation row thing, isn't it, I think. So we've got 1. We will get in there, give it a wiggle. 2, 3, the lorry's back. 4, 5, you do have to sometimes wiggle it with this. 6, it does push on your fingers a bit when you do that though. 7, that was 7, I dropped it into 7, that could have been 8, oh I don't know, just go all the way along anyway. I say he's definitely distracting me, so you can see where we are now. Now you are going to have to sort of flip it a little bit to be able to do this, and over we go. And you're just going to go along the double crochets that you already did. Just all the way along the front of the top, making sure we're picking up each stitch, keeping it nice and neat. It's easy this bit, it's the chain bit that's not nice. But after this half round and a half row that was, wasn't it? And into the chain. And all the way along. Sometimes it feels like the chain's back to front. That's because it is. Don't overly worry. It's a bit harder to get into it. But because the way you do it, you do the chain, then onto the top, and then another chain. One chain is different to the one on the other side a little bit. But
just try and get into each stitch. It's harder this side though. Need to try and keep central for you guys. Let me move up a little bit. We're not playing. There is one there. It is not playing for me. I hate going in chains. I think you may have noticed that. It's twisted. There we go. And there's just one more at the end there. Right, so we've gone along once, yeah? So you can see we have gone along there. So I'm going to do one chain, turn, and go back along. That's all it's going to do. I'm not going to do anything more than that. This is easy row compared with the last one, because we're actually going in a double crochet stitch now, so that makes life much easier. Oh, what am I doing? I think it's going to be one of those days where everything I do is going to go wrong. Just flatten it out. So we're just one double crochet into each of the previous row's double crochets. Do love this. I'll call it a sea green. I don't know, is it a little bit more turquoise? It's a very nice colour. I had considered crocheting a little matching sarong, but I don't know whether there would be enough left from each skein. There might be. I might have a go at that, and if anyone's interested, I'll put the little sarong on as well, because essentially all that's going to be is like a little shawl, isn't it, that's going to go around her hips. Maybe pop some fringes on it or something like that, give it some details. And our last stitch, which I look like I've pulled a bit, but it'll be okay. Ta-da! Go on, in you go. So as you can see, you could leave it there if you wanted to now, but I did add on a little scallop. The scallop doesn't show up as well as it did with the Smart Doll one, but the Smart Doll one also was done in a cotton 4-ply, and cotton does show more definition. So I'm just going to do one chain to turn, because I'm going to be working on the other side again. And we are missing a first stitch, and into the next stitch you're going to do 3 trebles. Yarn round. Remember, the first stitch is actually the one directly below there, so it's here. So 3 trebles. 1, 2, 1, 3. You're going to miss one, and then you're going to do a slip stitch in the following one. Slip stitch keeps it a little bit tighter. We're going to miss one, and we're going to do 3 trebles in the next one. So you can see the pattern forming there. 1, 2, and 3, all in the same stitch. We're going to miss one, and in the next one a slip stitch. You're going to miss one, and in the next one you've got it, 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to miss one, and you're going to do a slip stitch. Nearly did a double crochet there, that's why that went wrong. I was halfway through a double crochet and tried to alter it. You can't do that, just undo it. Right, slip stitch. Boop. We're going to miss one, we're going to do 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to miss one, we're going to do a slip stitch. We're going to miss one, we're going to do 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to miss one, we're going to slip stitch. Miss one, 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. we're going to miss one, we're going to do a slip stitch. I will split there, be careful, make sure your yarn hasn't split. Ta-da! We're going to miss one in the very last bit actually here. I'm going to do 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, don't over worry whether it sort of matches, because we're going to wrap it across anyway, because sometimes if you've got less stitches or more stitches, you may not get a full pattern in that we've just done. So the pattern basically is 3 trebles, miss 1, slip stitch, miss 1, and then repeat. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to fasten that off. Up to you. Now the other thing is, some people argue which way the scallops could go. I want my scallops to sort of like fold inwards, sort of that way. I'm happy with that, but some people prefer the scallops to show the stitch that way. Entirely up to you which way you do that. So let's just see how it fits around her middle before I go any further. So let's just hold that on, you misses. I do like this colour though. I'm having my scallops that way. I pop her arms, thankfully her arms move that way on this one. And I'm going to put it all the way around. And yes, I think that's going to work better. So the 10 works better than my original 12. Now she needs some straps to hold this up, doesn't she? So I'm going to pop her over there while I do this bit. And basically, because you will have been nice and neat, unlike me, and will have sewn your ends in, you're going to not have that to worry about. But all you're going to do is into that 2 chain space, we're going to slip into it, we're going to do a chain, and then we're going to do a double crochet into it. By doing the double crochet into it as well, it anchors it in place. And then we're going to do 40 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Try and keep them nice and even. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, halfway there, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We just got 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Right, now before we fasten it off, I need a reasonable length there, but then I'm also going to cut another length, because it's really hard to sew in the ends of chains through a chain without risking them coming undone. So this is just my method of doing it. So I've not fastened that off yet, so I've still got my loop there. I'm just going to pull that one through, make sure it's about halfway, and then pull it tight. Yeah, so what it does is it gives us 3 strands then attached to the same part, and then I'm just going to do a little knot. Try and get the knot right at the end of the chain rather than off it. Sometimes you have to sort of do it slowly, make sure you're happy where it is, and then pull it really tight. This yarn's quite strong to do that, be careful, some yarns will snap. And we can just fasten it off like that. And then, although I haven't got a thin enough needle here, I don't know if this will do it, and basically just separate your yarns up like this, and it can always guarantee it's not going to come undone then. There you go, and you can make that shorter or longer, however you want. Obviously you need to repeat that in the other side, and then we've got all these ends, which, like I say, I'm sure you've been much better behaved than me and sewn them in as we've gone. And that is basically our little top. These little snap fasteners, I'll show you on this one. So basically all I've done, one on one side, one on other, snapping in, and just sewn the button on. With yarn, to be honest, you can get away with doing the snap fasteners and you can't really see the stitches, but I do like to sort of just cover over just in case you can see any stitch. I just think it looks nice to finish it off with a little button. I think it looks quite cute. She could even have a little button here perhaps. In fact, that would look quite nice. I might do that on this next one, because I've got to take some photos, so you'll see some photos of them in it. So I might put a little button on the front of this one just to give us a little bit more detail. If you don't like doing the scallop, the other thing is, when you've done those DC rounds, you could stitch some lace. Now that would look quite nice and give a different effect again. Stitch some lace inside, just underneath the crochet work. I do like a mixture of fabric and crochet if you can do it, because I have to do that, because I have to start my Dolls Gone Goth
wedding dress, which I've done nothing yet, and it's got to be done by the 13th, so I need to get my act together. But that's what I'm going to do with that. It's going to be a crochet and fabric mix. I'm quite looking forward to doing that. So hope you enjoyed that. If you do enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe and share. I'm going to finish this one off and get some photos done so you'll be able to see it finished off. I'm also going to check that you can't hear that terrible noise that was outside. Otherwise, I might be doing this video again. So if you hear me moaning about it, you know I haven't done it again. But I will see you all very soon for our next video. Bye-bye for now.